My name is Amelia Campbell, and I am an account manager at the Business Development Bank. And today we will talk about a very important situation in the Canadian business landscape, and that is business transitions. So for those of you who are not familiar with the Business Development Bank, also known as the BDC, we are the only Canadian bank devoted exclusively to entrepreneurs. We support Canadian business owners in all industries with financing, capital, and advisory services. So the Canadian population is getting older. And what's more, Canadian entrepreneurs are getting older, and they're getting older, and therefore the workforce is. 59% are 50-year-old or older versus 32% of the Canadian workforce. What does this mean? This means that hundreds of thousands of Canadian business owners will soon be faced with the decision to let go of their businesses as the baby boomers get set to retire. To better understand how this wave of transitions will translate at the level of business owners, and also to see if Canadian entrepreneurs are ready to exit their businesses, we asked them about their succession plans. So we surveyed 2,500 Canadian small and medium-sized businesses across all industries, carried out telephone survey during March and April 2017, and we asked entrepreneurs about business transition, selling, and buying businesses. In September, we released a report focusing on Canadian entrepreneurs planning to sell their business, and now this year, or I believe soon, we are publishing our second report that looks at the intentions of potential buyers. So basically, today I'll give you two perspectives, the seller's perspective and the buyer's perspective. Before we look at business acquisitions from the buyer's perspective, let's take a look back at a few findings from our survey on business sellers. So 4 out of 10 entrepreneurs plan to step away from their business and not acquire another one. A similar report done in the mid-2000s by the Canadian Federation of Independent Business found that just 1 in 3 entrepreneurs were planning to quit. So we see that today, more of them plan to do so. This means a boom in business transitions is coming. So the peak will be reached in the next 4 to 5 years, when more than half of the planned business transitions are going to happen. Unfortunately, our study showed that many business owners are not making the best moves to ensure that they maximize the value of their business before they sell it. So only 48% plan to continue to expand their business. Half don't have sound financial reporting in place, and only 4 out of 10 have taken action to maximize profits. For entrepreneurs, it means that they put their retirement fund at risk by not getting their business ready for the sale. Entrepreneurs are leaving money on the table and are ultimately dragging down the market value of their businesses. So without a doubt, this is a good time to be in the market to buy a business. The baby boom generation of entrepreneurs is heading to retirement, and that means many more businesses will be available in the coming years. I'll post an interesting link about this from the BDC website that I have. Actually, I cannot copy and paste. I'll do that after, or I'll send it to Brianna. But the BDC website has a lot of great articles, tools, webinars regarding starting a business, buying a business, or selling a business as well. So now let's look at who will be on the buying side of those transactions. Very few studies have looked at the buyer's perspective in Canada, so our study comes to fill that gap. So over the next 5 years, 11% of Canadian entrepreneurs intend to buy another business to complement the one that they already own. And another 8% say they plan to sell their current business and buy another one. The likelihood an entrepreneur plans to acquire a business increases the size of the business they already own. So among a company with 20 employees or more, 44% intend to either acquire a business or sell their existing company and buy a new one. This is great news for the economy, and this wave of consolidation will allow for bigger businesses that are in a better position to compete internationally. So our survey confirms that entrepreneurs who plan to make acquisitions have the ambition to grow their company and are risk takers. So without a doubt, these are among the most dynamic businesses in Canada. So from a regional perspective, entrepreneurs on the prairies and in the Atlantic Canada show greater intentions than their counterparts in Quebec and Ontario to leave their business. Entrepreneurs in Atlantic Canada are older than in other parts of the country. On the prairies, more challenging economic conditions due to low oil prices may motivate some entrepreneurs to step away from their business without acquiring another one. So now let's look at the reasons why entrepreneurs are looking to buy a business. So entrepreneurs have many reasons for wanting to make an acquisition. However, our survey indicates that the #1 motivation is to buy a competitor. And this is especially true for companies with more than 20 employees. The second most popular reason is geographic expansion. And note that certain buyers mentioned several main motivations as well. So next, let's talk about the type of businesses that entrepreneurs are looking to buy. So entrepreneurs want to buy a profitable business, but not necessarily one that is experiencing high growth. In fact, 61% of buyers are looking for a stable but profitable business, while 31% want a growing and profitable business. This result likely points to the prudence of entrepreneurs when considering an acquisition. They're probably wary of the challenges of managing such a fast-growing business. Just 8% of buyers in our survey are looking to turn around a declining or unprofitable business. The message for sellers is clear, so it's essential to ensure your business is strong, profitable before putting it on the market. Our survey indicates entrepreneurs are relatively conservative when it comes to the size of business they want to buy. They tend to favor companies that are about the same size as their own or smaller. Again, this is especially true for larger businesses, those with 20 employees or more, and even those who identify themselves as risk takers. These entrepreneurs no doubt understand the challenges of trying to integrate a larger business into their own. So here's a breakdown of the buyers by industry. So what does this all mean? So first, it means that a boom in transitions is coming up. 4 out of 10 entrepreneurs plan to step away from their business and not acquire another one. So entrepreneurs planning to sell their businesses. So here are a few basic things that successful entrepreneurs do to prepare their company for the sale and maximize its value. So they keep reinvesting in their business. They continue to grow a business that is growing. So they continue to grow. A business that is growing is usually worth far more than one that doesn't. They keep detailed and reliable financial reports. Many deals do fall apart in the due diligence phase, just because lack of sound financial reporting. The fourth thing, we found that standing out from the crowd does help. For example, having up-to-date online presence or a bank of favorable customer testimonials. Online presence is extremely important, especially now during COVID, we find. We also saw that it pays to look for buyers outside of your local market when planning to sell. And finally, entrepreneurs who get help are better prepared to sell and secure the right price for their business. So as for entrepreneurs planning to buy, an acquisition can be a great way to grow your business and open new markets both at home and abroad. However, buyers need to be patient and make sure that they're buying a business that's aligned with their strategic plan and can be had for the right price. So to make a successful acquisition, entrepreneurs need to prepare carefully. So here are a few tips we can give in our study. So select the right company. Many deals fall short of expected financial performance in the short term, often by a wide margin. This means much more financial pressure on a business after an acquisition. Synergies are harder to achieve, and entrepreneurs tend to underestimate the costs and disruption from buying a business. 2, look at the books, but they also go beyond the numbers. Buyers need to take a hard look at the company's strengths, opportunities, weaknesses, and threats to its business model. They have to question owners, employees, business partners, advisors, and even competitors. It's essential not to spend too much on your acquisition, even if your financial partners are willing to put up the money. Overpaying will reduce your financial returns and increase your risk of default. Number 4, you want a financing package that maximizes your repayment flexibility and minimizes your personal exposure. So besides a loan secured on assets of the company, you should typically seek financing from the existing owner to round out the financing. So consider mezzanine financing because it also features flexible terms and usually requires limited or no personal guarantees. We also do like to see a vendor take back for a change of ownerships. It just makes the deal a little stronger sometimes, and it just gives us more reassurance as well on our side. And get advice. For most entrepreneurs, an acquisition is one of the biggest projects that we'll take on. Many underestimate just how complex and time consuming it will be. So your team typically includes such professionals such as an accountant, a banker, a lawyer, a project manager to oversee the integration. And finally, be patient. So patience is a virtue, especially in a hot market. So we do now know yet the pandemic's long-term impact on business sales and purchases, but the number of transactions did clearly slow down in 2020. The crisis also affected business sales prices. So here are a few tips that we've gathered since the pandemic when looking to purchase a business. So don't let the pandemic stop you. Pandemic or not, it is best to buy a business to which you as the buyer bring added value in order to make it grow and become better than it already is. As always, acquisitions with clear synergies must be prioritized. The pursuit of critical mass is key. So 2 companies will be stronger together if they can share the increase in necessary expenses, such as IT, security, system implementation, or the structuring of an official human resources department. So we therefore consider the current climate to be favorable to strategic acquisitions. The pandemic has increased the uncertainty of future cash flows for many businesses. So you have to compensate somewhere. The solution is to convert fixed costs to variable costs. Of the areas where you can make this shift is in the financing package. So in recent months, We have helped our buyers create a financing package with a larger portion of the financing assumed by the seller through, among things, contingent considerations such as earnouts, which are payable based on the business's performance. So this is an option that is used to bridge the gap when two parties have difficulty agreeing on the outlook of the coming years, which in theory, hopefully COVID goes away soon, but you just never know, or there's another pandemic, which is even more the case in times of uncertainty, such as the middle of a pandemic, which we technically are in right now. Many businesses have seen their profits increase as a result of the lockdown as well, such as hardware stores, recreational vehicles, cars, renovations, food, many other industries. So background work does need to be done to distinguish between the effects of the pandemic and the company's actual and repeatable profitability, whether it be a decrease or an increase in sales. We also recommend that you look to the future and appreciate how the market could swing in the new reality. So keep in mind that the remote work trend is here to stay, which will cause permanent changes in consumer behavior, lower demand in the formal clothing sector, or for example, a reconsideration of the need for a second car or tire change every 3 years. When a company is sold, there is almost always a culture change. With the increase of remote work, the sense of belonging to a company is diminishing among employees. So informal human contact is rare, making it more difficult to get an idea of how the employees feel and to send clear messages. Human capital is the most important asset you will acquire, but you will have to less access to it during the pandemic. So therefore, it is important to be well prepared to ensure success after the acquisition takes place. And lastly, questions. So this concludes the presentation. This also gives you a complete picture of Canada's transition environment. The most important thing to remember from today's presentation is that business transition is a topic of enormous importance for entrepreneurs and a great opportunity for those who are ready to seize it. And we are uniquely positioned at the BDC to offer the advice and financing that entrepreneurs need to maximize the value of their acquisition, to make their acquisition a success. So that is everything. And I guess you can just put your questions in the chat and I can answer them from there if anyone has any questions.
Okay. Hello.
Hi, she's Diane. She's not going to be able to hear you. For some reason,
Okay.
she's not able to hear any of us. So if you have any questions at all, just put them in the chat.
Okay, let me see if I can do that.
No worries.
Okay. Let me see. Does it say participation or I don't know.
It says security, like participants, polls, and it says chat right there in the bottom in the middle.
Okay, I see it.
There you go.
Okay, thank you. Okay, let me see.
You're welcome.
Okay.
Looking for a broker to sell your boutique. If you give me your information, I'll take that to my manager, and I'm sure we can have a couple names for you for sure. Brianna can send me your information, and I'll send you an email in the next couple of days. Oh, you're in Beechwood, Ohio, though. We are only really deal with Canadian brokers. There is a forum. I'll try and find the link for that and have that sent out. We deal with brokers and investors. I don't really have a preference per se. It really depends on who you're most comfortable with. Like if you know, basically I would just do your research prior. The best way probably to find someone is speak with somebody who recently has sold their business and get their experience on who they used. Just because I feel like in today's, especially in this local area, a referral is definitely the most important. You can also sell it on your own. We deal with people who are selling their business privately. Obviously, we'll need a lawyer, and you need a banker if they're purchasing it for financing. And lawyers, you can speak with the lawyer. They give great advice as well for selling a business. And we also, like, if you do want to sell your business, it's always good because we have people that ask us a lot of the time as well that they're looking to purchase a business. So I don't have anyone in mind right now, but definitely just reach out to me and I can just have your name just in the back of my head if any opportunities do come up.
I will send Amelia's contact information out to everyone. So if you do wish to reach out to her on a personal note about some questions that you don't want to have in the chat, you're more than welcome to do so. I'll probably send that out with the recording tomorrow morning. And with the information that Amelia also mentioned before as well.
Okay, perfect. Well, sorry that I couldn't hear anybody, but I think it worked out okay.
There was the two of us, so we could at least, communicate that way. Oh,
and
yeah.
I'll send Brianna the information from the BDC website, which has a lot of other great information on it as well.
All
and
right.
I'm sure my contact information too.
All right. Well, thank you everyone for coming out. And I know Amelia can't hear this, but thank you, Amelia, for essentially putting on this presentation today. I'll probably give you a call and let you know over the phone. Take care, everyone. Have a great day.